What if I told you there was a vertebrate animal that was alive when Henry VIII ascended to the throne in 1509, and that it was nuclear bombs that helped to determine its age? Well, that is the case of the Greenland shark. The Greenland shark can grow to a length of 7 metres and weigh up to a tonne, and is primarily found in the cold water of the Arctic and the North Atlantic at depths of 2,200 metres due to its preferred water temperature ranging from -1 degree C to 10 degrees C. But how do you determine the age of something that existed long before modern science? Well, in this case it involves nuclear bombs and radioactive isotopes. Greenland sharks have long been rumoured to be long-living, with a 1930s fisheries biologist tagging more than 400 to find out that they only grew 1 centimetre a year. A marine biologist, John Stephenson, decided to try and identify their age by collecting some backbone from the Greenland shark. The hope was that inside this could be growth rings, much like a tree's, to simply count and identify the age. Whilst this sounds mad, this is a very common technique when testing ages of marine animals, where natural growth rings are counted on scales or vertebrae. However, John Stephenson found none, so a different approach would be needed. This would come through testing for radiocarbons in the Greenland shark's eye lenses. In a Greenland shark, there is transparent tissue which is metabolically inactive, and new layers are added throughout a shark's lifetime. Nielsen et al. Collected 28 dead Greenland sharks which had been accidentally ensnared in trawler nets. Using these sharks, they tried to identify large amounts of carbon-14. This is a heavy isotope left from nuclear bombs, which would have been largely left from the testing that had occurred in the mid-1950s, and would have then infiltrated ecosystems in the early 1960s. Therefore, any lenses formed during this time would have more carbon-14. So you might be thinking, great, this identifies if a Greenland shark is older than 60, but not if it's 500 years old. Well, through this testing, it was identified that 2 of the 28 sharks, both less than 2.2 metres long, were born after the 1960s, with 1 born around this time. These were then used as a starting point to construct a growth curve. Added to this was the knowledge that Greenland sharks are around 42 centimetres long when born. This information was then combined with a technique that is used to calculate the ages of sediments based on radiocarbon dates and the depth below the surface. It was this technique that identified the specimen that could be 392 years old, plus or minus 120 years, giving a potential age range of 272 to 512 years old. At the most likely age of 392, it would have been alive during the English Civil War and the Great Fire of London. Even at the lowest of these ages, the Greenland shark is easily the oldest living vertebrate, with the next oldest a bowhead whale at 211 years old. This study also gave the potential information on when the Greenland sharks reproduce, with the average pregnant female estimated to be 4 metres long. This translates into Greenland sharks not reproducing until they're 150 years old. So there you have it. You now know how nuclear bombs help to identify the age of the world's longest living vertebrate and the age that they give birth. Thank you for watching, and for more videos like this, please consider subscribing.